The Cloud Browser was developed by the DataNet Federation Consortium to provide a modern web browser interface to any iRODS data grid. There are multiple instances of the Cloud Browser that can be used. The instance shown here, irin2-web-prod.rinc.org /irods-cloud-frontend/app/pound/login, requires the following information to connect to the lifetime library. For host, enter diamond.ils.unc.edu. For port, enter 2247. For zone name, enter lifelib zone with the Z capitalized. For username, enter your account name. For password, enter your password. For authentication, select standard. By changing the host, port, and zone name, you can log into any data grid for which you have an account. The parameters entered into the Cloud Browser define the connection information needed to access a data grid. The general definition of these parameters is host. This is the network address of a server in the data grid. Port. This is the port number used to interact with the data grid. Zone name. This is the name of the data grid zone. Username. This is your account name within the data grid. Note that when you access a federated data grid, you have to log in with the information from your home data grid, specifically your account name, #, home zone name. Password. This is your password for your home data grid. And authentication. The standard authentication choice is a challenge response mechanism used by iRODS. PAM refers to the pluggable authentication module, which supports authentication via InCommon, Shibboleth, and other authentication systems. The information displayed by the Cloud Browser is organized as virtual collections. The virtual collections are listed on the left side of the screen, as shown here. The contents of a virtual collection are listed on the right side. The initial collection that is shown is your home collection. Once you select a collection or file, the operations that you can then perform are listed in the bar above the file listing. You can import files into the data grid, which makes a physical copy of the file on a storage system that is under the data grid control. You can delete, rename, and move files between collections. You can add metadata. To add metadata to a collection, click on My Home to display your home collection. Click on a sub-collection to display the sub-collection contents. Click on Info to display options for the collection. Click on Metadata to display the descriptive metadata for the collection. Click on Add to add metadata to the collection. Each metadata attribute is specified by an attribute name, an attribute value, and an attribute unit or comment. Metadata can be added to any collection or file that is unique to that object. To enable this, Schema Indirection is used. Each metadata attribute that is added consists of a triplet. The metadata attribute name, note that the name can include spaces. The metadata attribute value, this is stored as a string. The metadata attribute units, this field is also used to store comments. It is possible to define tags. A tag is an attribute that does not have a value. To differentiate between metadata and tags, the system enters explicit strings in the attribute field and units field to denote a tag. The tag name is stored in the metadata attribute name. The system adds the tag creator name in the metadata attribute value. The system inserts iRODS user tagging :tag in the units field. You can add metadata to an individual file. The steps are similar to adding metadata to a collection. Click on a file to select operations on the file. Click on Info to display options for the file. Click on Metadata to display the metadata on the file. Click on Add to add metadata to the file. Note that you specify the attribute name, attribute value, and attribute units or comment. Within the iDrop web interface, access controls can be changed on a file or collection. A similar approach will be followed in the Cloud Browser. To add an access control, click on the file or collection. Click on Sharing, set the share name and click Update. Add a share by clicking on Create. Set the share permission. Options are read, write, or own. Enter the username for whom the access is being granted. Click on Search to retrieve account information for the user. Check the button by the username and then click Update. Take 7 minutes and complete exercise 15. Log on to the Lifetime Library and add metadata to your 5 files. Try setting attribute values to text or numbers. Note that both are saved as strings. Try setting a read access control for group class 624. This is a group which contains the class members. Set a read access control on your class INLS 624 collection for RW More. This is needed to be able to grade your exercises. Please load a screenshot or a paragraph describing your results into the Lifetime Library in the subcollection Class INLS 624 by the end of today's class.